All right. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about the importance of character and having a good character and how that'll affect your game. As always, I'm going to use examples that take athleticism out of the equation, or at least try to use those kind of examples. Also, something that just popped into my head was basically cheating in competition and how you might be able to suspect some cheaters by gauging their level of success and their character. Like, for example, if someone is a very successful competitor, but their character sucks, assuming they don't have some sort of physical gifts, athleticism and height or strength or whatever, if they're both very successful and have poor character, it might be a good chance that that person's cheating. I mean, as a rule of thumb, anyway, like, you should probably be most suspicious of those at the top, as they're most likely to be cheating. I mean, I don't see many cheaters that are losers. And if it's not cheating, maybe perhaps some sort of politics involved in their success. I just kind of wanted to get that thought down before I forgot about it. But this video's not about that. So, having a good character, how does this affect your competition and why? The who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? Well, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but that's what we're going to investigate today. But I do definitely believe that having a good character will make you more successful, and it's what I'm trying to do right now to improve my game. And actually, I do know what are the results of having a good and bad character as it relates to competition, because I've been doing this so many years. But we're just gonna dive right into this and put a microscope over everything here. So I'll start with some anecdotes. Let's start with a simple one. Having control over your emotions. It's kind of obvious, right? Like, that's gonna affect your competition. And I'd say that's a character thing. Having a temper, that's definitely a character thing. And if you have a poor temper and you're always getting angry and stuff, I mean, this should be pretty obvious to everybody. I mean, if you're getting angry, you're not going to perform as well. Some people will be quick to play devil's advocate in these situations and say, "Oh, well, you know, it's going to give you more energy," and like, some people play better when they're angry, and like, yeah, to those are the people that play better when they're angry are the people that are half-assing it 90% of the time. And when they play angry, they're playing like 100% of the time, and then 70, and then 100, then 70. But it's much better to be able to operate at like 80% all the time. I mean, if you're playing angry, you're gonna play like 100% for like 1 second, and then you're gonna play 70% or less for 99% of the time. Does that make sense? So when you get angry, you're only playing well for that 1 second that you're angry, and then it quickly tapers off. Now, that'd be great if you could get angry during these high leverage moments and, like, okay, I'm going to get angry the second I shoot the ball so I can have 100% focus. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, and you can't really control when you get angry necessarily. So it's like the guy makes a shot, crosses you over in basketball, makes a shot in your face, and you're angry as you trot back on defense. Well, that's not a very useful situation to have 100% focus, right? And then, it tapers off after a bit. So that's more of like a discipline characteristic, having poor discipline. Well, I mean, that's what this channel's was the foundation it was built upon was how important discipline is to poker, and that's what the foundation of any competitor should be discipline. That's your foundation. I mean, your biggest opponent is in competition is yourself. So if you can be disciplined, like in a perfect world, you have 100% discipline, and now your biggest competition is your opponent. Well, once you get your discipline, you can get your discipline and will never be perfect, but you can get it to a point where your now biggest opponent is your actual opponent. Like, I think that was very well said. This is what I've been trying to ingrain as a coach. Like this is going to be my new coaching philosophy right here. And I'm going to repeat it just because I think it was really profound. I'm not trying to toot my own horn at all, I promise. This is from the bottom of my heart. Your biggest opponent in competition is yourself. Once you get that, your goal should be to get that squared away, get your discipline so rock solid that now your biggest opponent is your actual opponent. This is the foundation of competition right here. And the way to do that is to improve your character. Now, improve your character in which ways as it directly relates to competition? Well, I don't know exactly. I've gotten mine airtight to where, or not airtight, but enough over the last 17 years of playing poker, it took me to fucking get it to where I'm now, my biggest opponent is no longer myself. It comes and it goes at times. Sometimes it'll still be myself. Sometimes that demon will rise up, but it becomes less and less to where I can focus more on my opponent. So where do we start with our character, like to attack this, to attack those demons? It's probably different for everybody. My instinct tells me that it's a little bit of everything. Like, I don't know how, like, something like being loyal to your girlfriend and friends will affect your discipline and competition, but it just will. I really don't know how they're tied together. I suppose I could sit there and think about it. I guess that could be for another video. But I'm pretty confident that they're tied together, and I'm sure something in your heart and your gut tells you, yeah, if I improve my relationships with everybody and just be a better person, that I'm gonna have more control over myself in competition as well. So I can take some examples of players such as, and again, taking the athleticism out of the equation. If you look at someone like I like to use these examples: Steph Curry, Steve Nash. I feel like they're such good examples. And look, it's all adding up. This is no coincidence that I'm using these same players, and the criteria is still there. I mean, those are good guys, man. I don't know them personally, but they seem like really good people. I mean, those guys are squeaky clean, man. And if you notice, they've had every opportunity to like have their character crumble and deteriorate, being young millionaires in the NBA, good-looking guys that could be with hundreds of women, and they have money, but they don't do that. And look how successful they are. Man, I'd like to take a look at some cheaters too. Some people that have been shown to be cheaters, just to contrast it. And it's almost like evaluating stats. Like I want to check the the relative, like it's almost like analyzing two different stocks and seeing kind of where one went wrong. Like finding the variable between the two. Like the two stocks, they're almost identical, but there was one variable, and seeing how that a variable affected its success. And so that's just one criteria, is like the discipline thing. Now, are there other characteristics of a person, or is it all just kind of funnel back to discipline? I don't know. I don't even have instincts on this one to kind of guide me. I am leaning a little bit towards, it all kind of funnels back to like these poor character traits. They all kind of funnel back to discipline, because deep down a person knows what they're doing is wrong when they're doing one of the poor characteristics. Like, we all know the things we don't like about ourselves. Like, every time you do something, for example, this is personally myself. Like, I'll say something in a social situation, and it's to try to be funny, and it'll like, I probably shouldn't have said that, right? And that's just another self-control thing. So another way to say is, we all know what we don't like about ourselves. We all know what we're doing wrong usually, but we don't have the self-control. So how does this apply to competition? Well, I see Kobe do this a lot, and I've made entire videos on it where, like, he knows that, like, oh, I probably should make this play, but I'm selfish. Or I'm not exactly sure what the exact character flaw is there. Perhaps it's selfishness. Perhaps it's a big ego. Perhaps it's both. That's just my observations. You don't have to agree with it. Don't get hung up on this example, please. That's just my estimation of the situation there. I can take someone else. Let's think. Here's a similar anecdote that I'm equally as confident about, and you can't argue with me because you weren't there. So yesterday, I was playing basketball, and it's like this little fast Chinese guy, right? And I'm fucking nearly 40 years old and overweight, a little bit overweight, and I'm pretty strong and much bigger than this guy. I'm strong relative to him. Much stronger relative to him, and probably outweigh him by a good 50 pounds. And I was just kind of dominating him in the paint. Like, I was burying him under the basket, so he couldn't get any rebounds, and so sealing him so he couldn't contest players on my team when they drive, and etc. And I could see him getting mad that he was getting kind of dominated in those situations. And the previous game, I had just watched him play while I waited for my turn. He was good. He had skills. And he was kind of dominating the other guys. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to deny this guy the ball since he's going to be the biggest threat on the team. So I wasn't helping at all. I was just on him like glue. And instead of running around to get open, like coming off down picks, whatever, he's trying to play physical with me. I think his ego was hurt. You feel me? So he didn't like that he was getting bullied, and he tried to go alpha on me. That is the opposite of what he should be doing. I outweigh him by 50 pounds. I'm much stronger than him. I'm taller than him. What the hell is he doing? He knows he probably deep down he knows that's not what he should be doing. He should be just fucking running around like crazy, using his speed and make me fucking tire out and just put me through screens. It's just going to be a nightmare for me. But he does the opposite. Why? Because his character is overly concerned with ego. You see how it boils down to your character. And that's another thing I try to do on this channel is find the root of these issues. And yeah, I mean, stay tuned, guys. Like, every video I'm going to be trying to do this, boil things down to the root. Sometimes I'll talk about some of the branches and some of the leaves. if you guys want to be great, you gotta boil these down to the roots, find the root of the problem, and eliminate them. And sometimes I'll talk about the branches, the leaves, just to help you trace them back to the roots, or to give you confidence in me as I break it down. Once I break it down, you'll see like, oh man, this is all like airtight. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, I am not tooting my own ego here. I've just thought about this a lot, and I made a lot of mistakes, especially in poker. And poker really, again, it takes the athleticism out of it, and your biggest opponent is yourself in poker. Because there's so much luck involved, you have to really keep your cool, man. There's so many things that can affect you with these emotions, and these character flaws can really it really illuminates these problems. It really fucking illuminates these problems, and you're like, oh, that's why I'm losing money. It's because I have fucking a poor character. Whereas if I'm playing basketball or something and I miss a shot, I'm just like, fuck. I missed the shot. And it's really hard to identify why you missed the shot. You're okay, well, maybe my elbow wasn't in. Or maybe I didn't come off the dribble right and the contest distracted the defenders. When in actuality, it might have been because of your characteristic. Because a characteristic of your personality. Whereas you wanted to show this guy up because he just dunked on you. So you want to dunk on him. When in reality, you probably shouldn't have gone for the dunk. You should have drove and passed it when the help came. But you were so fixated on dunking on him that you didn't see the open man. Or maybe you even did see the open man, but you were just... your character is that poor. You have that little self-control that you didn't make the pass in that situation. Kobe, excuse me. But I digress. I'll see you all later, guys. I'm really happy with everything I just said. I don't want to fuck this up. And I really hope I got through to you. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.